Hi, Jesper. Thanks for joining us. And first of all, congratulations on your Q1 results.
Thanks a lot, Tim. Yeah, we're very excited about the performance we saw in Q1. It was really stellar across all business units.
Yeah, I find it hard to disagree. My first question was going to be if you can run through kind of a top line Q1 overview. And as an outsider, as you just said, it's difficult to pick holes because revenue, EBITDA, and net profit were all up.
Yeah, we saw the strongest revenue ever in the quarter, and also earnings year on year up 44% on EBITDA. And if I should sort of dive a bit into the different areas, I would highlight North America, where we, despite a very tough comparison to last year with the New York launching last year, early January, we still saw 19% growth in the quarter. And I think that's due to the Ohio State launch, Massachusetts launching late in the quarter, and then just a good performance sort of from existing states as well. We have also seen with our paid part of the business, so paid media, very strong growth and earnings there with a high margin, and compared to the historical level of the margin for our paid business, it was a record of 27% margin. So yeah, I would probably highlight those parts of the business.
Absolutely. It's a good segue because I've got a couple of questions on the North American market. We've heard from a few affiliates who have talked about the competitive nature of the market, and it's tough for newer affiliates, but for a company like Better Collective, effectively coming in with a market leading position, what's it like, I guess, being on the other end of that scale, where when a new state launches, I guess you can be confident of achieving strong market share?
Yes, I think the position we now have definitely gives us some tailwind whenever state launches, and in general with the partnerships that we have with the sports books in the states. And to be honest, when we did our first acquisitions back in 2019, and then the big one with Action Network in 2021, it was really because we knew it would be important to get to that position. And last year we achieved more than $100 million in revenue. So we are a significant player in the American sports media landscape, sports betting media landscape, and ultimately that gives us, I believe, unique opportunities with the sports books, and also the scale of traffic we have is something that is important for the retention of all the users of the sports book. So I think it's absolutely right that it's important to have a critical size in this market. Otherwise, you may have a tough market conditions.
Yeah, you mentioned kind of the new states. Obviously, Ohio's had a fantastic start. In the company report, it mentioned that Massachusetts was a good launch, but lacked a bit of regulatory clearness and clarity. Could you tell us a bit more about that? And was that to do with kind of the state's rules on revenue share?
Yes, so there was a bit of back and forth, and we ideally would like to work on revenue share with our partners, which was then challenged. And to be honest, let's see where all of this lands in the long term. But that did cause sort of a bit of changes just prior to launch and while it was launched. So still, it was a good state launch, but we prefer having certain conditions rather than having seen them up in the air. But
yeah.
It is what it is with state launches and the regulatory climate.
Yeah, no, that's definitely fair. You talked about in the report Latin America as well. So obviously North America, you're coming with a position of strength. As you mentioned, several acquisitions that were in the past now, so you're planning ahead. Latin America, a region with potential growth, but you said in the report you need to do more. What more do you need to do? What more can you do? And can you see a time when Latin America is such a big market for you, it's comparable to maybe Betson on the operator side, which is quite big in LATAM, and maybe can be on the supplier side, that kind of thing?
Well, it's a very fast-growing part of the world, and the regulatory developments there are definitely sort of catering to that.
Yeah.
In terms of market potential, yes, it's definitely big, and it's always hard to sort of, will it be as big as Europe, North America? Very hard for us to predict. but we're just quite certain that it will be a significant part of our business, and therefore we're investing in that. And for us, as we have seen, like the playbook that we saw in North America, doing acquisition, getting organization in place, and then be able to grow with that, we believe is the right approach for us. And now we have established an office in Rio de Janeiro, and as said, like from an M&A perspective, we would definitely like to do some acquisitions of interesting brands in the region. So it's ongoing work, and then from a timing perspective, it's unpredictable. You never know when something can happen, but it's definitely our ambition.
Sure. Well, we're obviously all waiting kind of on the regulation in Brazil, and that'll be a massive regulated sports betting market when it comes to fruition. But these mergers and these kind of deals that you've mentioned, it's all helped you become effectively now. It's Better Collective has over $1 billion in market capitalization. So it's an affiliate that is a huge firm now, and comparable with many suppliers and operators, and in many cases bigger. So can you see the affiliate sector and the sports betting media sector continuing to increase in size through the years? So maybe that $1 billion, across the board, we could be talking much bigger market caps maybe in 10, 20 years.
I think we actually just hosted a Capital Markets Day a couple of months back, where we laid out our vision of becoming the leading digital sports media group. So we are basically, like, we started out with sort of concentrated affiliate sites for the European market. We've gradually been expanding that, and now we're more focused on owning true brands and also sports media brands. So football news sites where we have an engaged audience, a big audience, where we believe we have a playbook of growing that audience, being good at monetizing that, and ultimately sort of reaping the scale benefits that a very big audience will give you. So we are moving in the direction of becoming the leading digital sports media group. So it is an extension to the term of affiliate, and for us, affiliation is at the end of the day a business model. It's how we generate revenue, whereas the business we're in is more about creating engaging content and for now also broadening our reach with we have esports media and community site in HLTV, and we have FUTBIN within the FIFA game. So we are definitely sort of changing the nature of our business and the scope of our business, but it all originates with a toolbox of affiliation being the leading monetization form, but now also subscription, CPM selling, direct ad selling, so various forms of monetization.
Sure. I mean, on that basis, could the traditional sports betting affiliate model, will that take up less and less percentage of your kind of business, or is that still going to be a core?
So thinking 5-10 years out, I would assume that as a share of total revenue, it will likely go a bit down. It will still be the majority. It will still be growing for us in total numbers. But as we add like these new forms of monetization and we acquire more of these sports media brands, I think we will see a gradual or a slight difference in the mix. But no doubt, sort of the bread and butter is the affiliation, which is where we come from.
Sure. Just a couple more questions from me, and they're both I'd say a little bit specific. So I'll hit with the first one. I want to go back to the US market. What is your objective take on the landscape on the operator side? Because you have a few big brands, and they have quite a concentrated market share. This week we had Fanatics buying PointsBet's US operations. I'm wondering what your take is on the landscape as a whole, and maybe could someone like Fanatics come in and shake things up?
I think, to be honest, I think we're still far from seeing the end of that market in terms of how many players and who will be the leading players. Obviously, FanDuel and DraftKings are probably not going anywhere. But I definitely expect that Fanatics can make a proper sort of move in this industry and take that 365. They're definitely increasing their efforts in the American market, and they have an amazing product. They come with like such a long experience and understanding of this industry. Obviously, having to tailor to the North American market, but to be honest, what the market has been around now for 5 years, it still fairly early days. We don't have all states regulated, so I think we will see changes to this market in the coming years, and basically we also welcome that we can see innovation happen in the market, which I'm quite sure we'll still see.
Yeah, interesting to kind of name check Bet365. Of course, globally huge, and yeah, still plenty of time to make the mark in the US. As I said, that the final question is also a specific one from me. Better Collective recently took a sort of a greater than 5% position in Catena Media, investment wise. Just wanted to ask you kind of strategy on that, because we spoke to a few affiliates at ICE, and they were all quite interested. You know, what type of investment in that? Is there anything coming from the other side? I don't know if you could just kind of give us an overview.
I know it's unfortunately a bit of a boring answer, but as we put out the press release related to that shareholding in Catena Media, we also mentioned that we're not going to comment on that. Okay. So I'm afraid I have to give that boring answer.
Well, I don't blame you, but also don't blame me for asking.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but Jesper, thanks very much for joining us. Real pleasure to catch up with you on Q1. Obviously, as we've talked about, a great success, and good luck for Q2. Plenty of challenges ahead, but no doubt plenty of growth for Better Collective as well.
Well, thanks a lot. Pleasure being here, Tim.
Thank you.